Welcome to the Void. This is where I make all of my YouTube reviews, and today we're going to be doing something special. I realized that I didn't want to make 3 separate videos on these games that I just finished, so I'm just going to make one video for all 3 of the games. This is going to be my general thoughts and not really analysis, that's a bit much, but just general thoughts on the games, and giving my impression. Yeah. Anyways, to start off, we have Celest. Celeste, well, you might have heard of it, you might have not heard of it. It is a fairly difficult platforming game that has a very charming pixel art style and a for some, very moving storyline, and for others, it triggers anxiety, which understandably so. For me, I had a fun time playing it. The first time I actually played it was a couple years ago, and it was free on Xbox Live. So I downloaded it then and completely binged the entire game and had a lot of fun doing so. So I decided to pick it up again when it was on sale a couple months ago for the Christmas sale, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But I picked it up again and I went through it, and I just finished it for the 4th time the other day. And I want to give my general thoughts on it. It's a very enjoyable game. If you like platforming and difficult puzzles, they have a lot of that for you. And if you are interested in a fairly unique storyline, then pick it up if you haven't already played it before. And yeah, then we have Arafel. Now, I haven't finished this game yet. Why am I doing a review of it so far? Because I think I'm fairly close to the end. So I thought, why not at least give my thoughts on the game that I've played for the past 17 hours or so, I think. Something like that. Anyways, it's a nice kind of JRPG game that is kind of styled after Final Fantasy, per usual. And it's a fun story. The characters are quite well written. The plot is engaging enough to keep me interested for as long as it has. The gameplay, I mean, it's a JRPG, right? The difference is that when you go into combat, you don't have MP from the previous engagement. You have a new set of MP to use in that scenario, or FP in this scenario. I forget which it is. But anyways, it recharges between battles, and each time you do a turn, and I think that's what makes the gameplay a little bit more engaging for me. I'm not a huge fan of managing mana on my characters, so having it always kind of full and letting you use your abilities right off the bat makes the game fairly quick-paced in certain aspects, and I find that quite enjoyable. The art is very charming and very fun. The soundtrack is decent. The environments are fairly different most of the time. I would say that the only downside to the game is that it occasionally does have areas where it makes you go through them a little bit slowly, and there's not a lot of visually interesting stuff. But the writing is very solid and interesting. So if you are interested in a kind of newer JRPG experience, then I'd recommend picking that up. Now we have Blazblue. Now this game, okay. Actually, specifically Blazblue Calamity Trigger is the game that I just finished. It is the first installment in the Blazblue franchise, technically. I might get that wrong. I'm new. Spare me, fans. I swear. But I played through the game. I got through most of the endings of the characters, and I did the true ending. And it is a very fun game. Now, I'm fairly bad at fighting games, but I decided to pick up the 4 not Calamity Trigger, Blazblue games on Steam. And honestly, I would say so far it's very worth it. I didn't touch them for almost a full year, but having started playing through all of Blazblue now, I think I'm going to continue on and see it through the end, through to the end. Because honestly, the story in these games so far is really interesting. I actually gasped once And I actually I teared up a little bit at a couple parts, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a pretty okay story. What the hell? The voice acting is fun. It reminds me a lot of an early 2000s anime, partly because it came out in 2009. But it is it's a, I don't want to say it's simplistic fighting game, but it 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 makes it easier for my noob-ish self to get into the game, for whatever reason. And yeah, it's very enjoyable. If you haven't heard of it or played it yet, I would say give it a shot, and maybe just get the most recent installment if you're only interested in the gameplay and the fighting. But if you want to know more about the story, I would say pick up the full installments if you can, because 4 games for like $20, honestly, it was quite worth it. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of the story and the characters. Also, as a side note, soundtrack great, character art fantastic, and movesets very flashy, very cool. Anyways, does it for my reviews for the time being. Thank you for watching to this part if you have. And yeah, I will catch you later with a new review at some time in the future. Bye-bye.